So today, when I look around, I see people are lost in social media. They're scrolling their Instagram and Facebook day in and day out, and they're basically not able to handle their own thought and emotion, from my understanding. So, is this reversible through meditation?
You mean reversible means it should go back to what point?
uh, to a point where they're happy and peaceful by themselves, and that they're not really compulsive, and they don't really need social media as such,
Yeah,
because when we
because
were kids we weren't like this, right? It is only with habit that we've somehow become like
yes,
this.
we were in the kids when we were kids, and when we our parents were kids, we were not lost with social media, but we were lost with something else. We have always been lost. The whole humanity has always been lost. The only thing what it is lost with has been changing from time to time, but the fact that otherwise, according to you, before the social media, were people ecstatic and dancing and
No,
jovial and rejoicing on the
no,
go? It was not like that.
no.
It was they were
True.
as unhappy as today. Maybe they were at least aware that they were unhappy because the distractions were lesser.
Huh.
So because when you are unhappy and when you are just sitting, you can face that unhappiness,
Yeah.
and actually you would like to do something
Hmm.
about it.
Correct.
And now what has happened, when you are unhappy, but there is something to make you forget even that. So you are unhappy, and then when you start scrolling, there is something that takes you off the reality, and that too on a very continuous mode.
Yeah.
So you even forget that you are sad or unhappy.
Correct.
And if you see how the social media functions, it's not very different from how the mind functions. So that's
Hmm.
what I meant by saying people were lost even before. So now we scroll through the device, but earlier the mind used to scroll through the thoughts.
Yeah.
It's not very different.
Correct.
It's actually, they say that anything human invents is always as a dimension of human mind.
Hmm.
Anything that has been invented, it is one of the aspect of the human mind.
Yeah.
If they could build the pyramids, which we can't do today, it only means that dimension of the mind is not active, that intelligence is not active.
Hmm.
And what we are doing today, if 1,000 years ago they couldn't do, it doesn't mean that they were not intelligent. They
Yeah.
were intelligent in a different dimension. Now, in which dimension are you exercising the intelligence? That forms the society and the
True.
civilization. So, coming back, even with the mind, the thoughts function in a very similar way of how the algorithm functions in the Instagram or YouTube. Actually, that's what I meant, because the algorithm follows the mind. So
Yes.
if you see one video,
Hmm.
if you and the algorithm knows that this is what is of your interest,
Yeah.
it will bring another video which is of very similar. So the
Yes.
likelihood of you
Watching
watching
it.
that video is also very high,
Correct.
which is exactly what the mind does.
Yeah.
When you focus on a certain thought for a given amount of time, to be precise, some people say 15 seconds, some say 17 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
and I say 18 seconds,
Hmm.
because I love the multiples of 9.
Hmm.
Uh, so 18 seconds is something that is enough for you to signal to the universal algorithm that you like something, so that more of it is given to you.
Oh,
So when a
okay.
thought comes and then uh, you watch it for 18 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
so the universe knows to bring similar thoughts to you. So if it
Ah,
was
okay.
a happy thought,
Hmm.
it will bring another happy thought. Oh, okay, so you are enjoying right now something to feel excited. Okay, so have this. It will
Yes.
give you another thought. So another reason. So to continue your state of being.
Hmm.
So that's what matters to the universe. That universe, even if you're sad, for example, and
Yeah.
you are engaged with a certain sad thought, okay, 18 seconds you have been with this thought. That means that you're loving what you're doing. So the universe just offers you another
More
sad
and
thought
more of it.
to be more sad.
Yeah.
So it doesn't judge you and say that you are being stupid, you need to come out of this. No,
Hmm.
it gives you more. Now another 18 seconds, have it, another more,
Yeah.
another more. So a layer by layer by layer, when you place certain thoughts, once it becomes a certain once it builds a certain density, it becomes reality.
Yeah.
So now it's the same thing like how the algorithm functions, and this is why we get lost into it, because you watch a video, you quickly scroll through that kind of video. The
You'll
algorithm
never get.
knows
Correct.
that because it knows that you don't like this.
Yeah.
So the same thing we can do with our mind also. Like if
Correct.
there is a certain thought,
Yeah.
so quickly snap out. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want this.
You don't want to get associated
Not
with
that
it.
whether it is real or not. Your
Yeah.
mind, another part of your mind will try to say,
Hmm.
but what I had offered to you was real.
Hmm.
It was very much happening. Like
Yeah.
like something. It was maybe, let's say that it's something to do with some war, where thousands of people are dying somewhere, thousands of miles
Hmm.
uh, far away, and your mind is trying to tell you that this is real.
Hmm.
So basically, it tries its best to hold on for you to hold on to the thought,
Yeah.
and then it becomes easy for it to present another thought.
It is basically trying to keep you hooked to
Keep you
the.
hooked again. That momentum is also coming from your previous dispositions
Ah,
towards what you have paid.
attention to.
Yeah, the same mind can also act the other way around, where the momentum has been towards happiness, and then you are now newly started liking some pain
Hmm.
through some poetry or love or something. Then the
Right.
happy mind will not say like, "What are you doing?" Like, I don't think that this is your thing, and then it tries to
Yeah.
offer you the set of thoughts that have always been coming.
Yeah.
And the algorithm also functions the same way. Like if you've been watching some set of videos for a long time,
Hmm.
now suddenly you stop off, but still the algorithm
It
takes
keeps
time for
coming.
it to know that
You're not interested in
you
it
are
anymore.
not interested, so it keeps offering for some time, but after some time it comes to know, okay, your interests have changed,
Right.
so now I need to revise myself and present to you. And the same thing mind also does.
Correct. Correct.
So coming back to our understanding, these things have to be understood before trying to escape something. Like
Correct. Correct.
anything that you spend time with,
Hmm.
whether it is the phone
Hmm.
or otherwise, you will always be lost
True.
and
true,
you will be
true.
hooked on, because if not the algorithm, the universe will bring you something which
Correct.
will help you continue with being lost.
Correct. Correct.
So the only way to be not preoccupied is to, like you said, can meditation help?
Hmm.
So if you practice being not preoccupied, unpreoccupied, then it is possible slowly to, I mean, that doesn't only imply phones.
Correct.
Now if you stop watching phones, now if you take over to the books, now 24/7 you are reading books, that also
Yeah.
it will be nothing too different,
Hmm.
because again you will start picking up the books according to your taste, and still you are not with the reality. If you are a sad person, you are losing yourself in the books, or if not the books, let's say newspaper or something else. There is always like the whole,
Objects keep
that's what I
changing.
meant.
Yeah.
The whole of the timeline, the humanity has always had something to be lost with.
Hmm.
So sometimes when you look back, it might seem funny, or it would just seem ridiculous, but then what we are doing now would seem ridiculous to the next generation.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
that's how. But the solution is to practice being unpreoccupied. Now if I'm sitting here,
Hmm.
I don't have to start reading something,
Correct.
or I don't have to, even if you're there, I don't have to start talking.
Correct.
So just learning to be,
Hmm.
just learning to not do anything. It is a undoing, right? So when you withdraw yourself from giving attention to thoughts, or doesn't mean I should start walking around. That's also, or if
Yeah.
I'm a yogi, I will suddenly in this peaceful nature stand off on my head, and so that's also some doing.
Correct.
So you don't have to
Correct.
do anything when, especially when your interest is to go towards being unpreoccupied or withdrawing all your what is it called in yoga, in Ashtanga there's a word, right? Pratyahara or something.
Pratyahara, yeah. Withdrawing your
It's
senses.
just withdrawing. That means that you have taken back your energy from the actions. It begins with actions. The act of sitting down in meditation
Correct.
is not that the meditation happens only when you sit like this. It's only a signal to the body and mind to say that, okay, like, something is in the stopping mode. So now because of this stopping, the mind also gets a message, and the mind has to slow down, which can happen if you are withdrawing your attention from the thoughts.
Correct.
Now if you have withdrawn the attention from the action, you sit off and then you keep giving more attention to thoughts. So that is not withdrawal.
Correct.
So that is still again you are being lost with something
You're
else.
actually building more momentum that
Yeah,
way.
so it is withdrawal from the physical actions, withdrawal from the thoughts. So, and then you come to a state where you learn to just be with your energy without the desperation for it to move,
Correct.
move outwards. Without the desperation for it to move outwards, whether sexually or through thoughts or through actions, no. It is just staying with you. So, and hardly anybody experience this state, because the natural tendency of the energy, because again of the momentum, when it is withdrawn from one, it flows towards the other.
Correct.
So when you say, okay, like from today don't watch something, now your mind will be thinking, so can I do something else? So
Yeah.
that's and one needs to understand all this, and then slowly one will be able to come to a state where the reliance on the phones are not there, the reliance on anything is not there, because you are quite self-contained, which is what we call it as self-adequacy.
Yes.
Or self-containment doesn't mean that you're not going to depend on somebody. Self-adequacy just means that you have the ability to just be with your energy without the compulsion to flow somewhere.
So even if you move somewhere, it'll be out of choice, not because you're inadequate within yourself. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Even if you move somewhere, it'll be the first choice.
Yes.
Because you could also not do it.
Correct.
So you call it a choice when the real choice is, now if I say, will you have Pepsi or Coke? Now only if you have the ability to not choose both.
Yes, you have the freedom.
And then you choose either of it, then it's a real choice.
Correct.
So if you only think that, now today what people think is having choices, they mistake that they have the ability to choose.
Yeah.
So just by having alternatives does not imply necessarily that you have the freedom to choose. Yeah, both are different things.
Yes.